have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome into the LIBA Business Hour, sponsored by Nats to Tassili, highlighting local independent businesses in and around Lincoln on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here's your host, LIBA Executive Director Travis Filing and Gary Tharnish.
It's got to be one of those buttons over there, Rico. There it is. I can hear myself now. Good morning. You are listening to the LIBA Business Hour, and I am Travis Filing, and with me is Gary Tharnish from Home Design Real Estate. And I always get that wrong, don't I?
That's okay. It's Home Design Real Estate Group. You just
Group.
missed
See, I just missed the group.
Yeah.
So I'm getting there slowly, but I'm not there all the way yet. So
so close.
And our producer today is Rico. Rico is in. So how you doing, Rico?
I'm doing fantastic.
There we
doing
go.
Great. Just not used to waking up this early and coming into work. So
Not on a Saturday.
we're fine. No, I mean usually I'm up earlier than this anyways because I got two kids, but not used to waking up and leaving the house. So
Right. I'm used to waking up this early, but not talking a lot.
Yeah.
So,
No, I
which is
understand. I'm
a
with you.
blessing to those that are around me on a regular basis. But
So Ben, who had been with us for 9 months,
Yeah.
has finished his internship here, and so now he's off to greener pastures. Is he still working at the station, or is he just
no?
done?
He has a different job.
Oh,
So,
good for him.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, we'll miss Ben for sure. But Rico's going to be in here a couple of times, and then we're going to kind of have the
switch
rotating
You'll have a
producer
couple of
for
different
a
people
while.
up in here, and then
that's all right.
we'll get somebody trained to run these shows, and you'll have hopefully a more stable producer for a while.
So
Okay.
how old are your kids?
My kids are 3 and 5.
Oh,
I guess you are. Yeah. You're a busy man.
Yeah.
Chasing them around. There's a reason you have children when you're younger.
yes, it's a young man's game.
I
There
already
is
have-
no
I
question.
already have grandkids, so it's like spoil them, send them home.
Yep.
Really, that's the easy part, you know?
You give them
Yeah.
give them candy, you give them chocolate, and then you're just like, hey, go to your
Yeah,
parents.
I might have given them a little chocolate.
Although I have a
Yeah.
couple of friends who are my age, I'm 50,
Mhm.
who have had started having kids at 50 or in
I
late
know.
40s. It's
I know.
like, what are you thinking, man?
I know.
I couldn't imagine
You
it.
had it good. You had smooth sailing.
Right.
And then you're just like, you know what? Let's mess this up.
Yes, exactly.
It's great. So the
So-
couple I was showing houses to last night have 3 kids. We've been looking at houses for a few weeks, and the kids are well behaved, but they're going from one house to another.
Right.
It's like so challenging for them. But it's like, we're talking. I'm like, "Where's the 1-year-old?" I mean, she ran. Oh, we got to get got the 1-year-old. They're not, and it's just like, man, I forgot how much work that is. It's just crazy.
So 3 and 5 is kind of that first magical Christmas, right? What did you guys do?
Oh yeah.
Christmas time?
They've been pretty good with Christmas for a while. They discovered, I believe, both of them at 2. So when my oldest, who's my daughter, when she was 2, she discovered, unwrapping gifts and how much fun Christmas is. And my son kind of discovered that last year. Now they're fully bought in and they love it so much. And it's we're a big Christmas movie house.
Okay.
So and
Yeah.
their favorite movie, they have 2
Very
of
too.
them. It's the new animated Grinch.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, which
From,
is
like,
great.
DreamWorks?
Yes,
It's actually pretty good.
yes,
Is
it's
it
really
very good.
Better than the original cartoon.
I think so.
I think it's
Okay.
better than the original cartoon, but the Jim Carrey one is still my favorite. That and then Home Alone 3.
3. See,
that's-
I'm not a sequel guy. I usually the
That's the one
sequels
with
are
the-
always ruined.
Yeah,
but
that's the one with the toy car.
I haven't
No,
seen
see, I
that.
watched 1 and 2. I haven't seen 3 either.
Yeah,
I'll have to watch
3.
it.
So people don't like after Macaulay Culkin isn't in it, so he's not in the third one. But the third one is the last good. Home
Because he'd
Alone.
be like 23,
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
How
it was
many
like
are there?
2004. There's like 5 or 6.
Like
How many
100
times can you
and-
lose your kid in a movie?
I know,
Until
so
you
like
go,
the first two-
okay.
Yeah, like the first 2 are
Called Child-
Macaulay Culkin, and then it's I don't know the actor's name, but in the movie his name is Alex for the third one. Then it's a different kid for the fourth one, and one of the bad guys from I think Harry maybe,
Okay.
or maybe I think it's Harry. Shows back up for the fourth one, but not Marv. And then the fifth one, I don't remember. And then there's a sixth one that was on Netflix that was released a couple of years ago.
Holy
That's
cow.
like kind of cute, but it's
crazy.
like I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
goodness, man. Think of something new, Hollywood. I mean, come
Yeah.
on. At some point, Marv is 90 years old, and,
Yeah.
and Macaulay Culkin is 26, and
Macaulay's got his own kid
He's
now.
supposed to be home alone.
Exactly. I always know someone's found their house when they have what I call their 5-year-old Christmas morning eyes, and they see that Santa came and they walk in the house and you go, oh, this is going to be their house.
Yep.
And it's almost always perfect. You can tell when they're going to get it.
Oh,
So we got
that's
a snowstorm coming.
Well, I thought
Sounds
it was
like,
supposed to be
maybe.
here now. I've
Yeah.
seen 5 weather reports. One that said we were supposed to have snow already.
Yep.
One said it's going to snow at noon.
Yep.
One at 5. One at midnight, and then
Yep.
one said it's not coming. So
Yep, I know. I see. That's the job we all should have gotten.
I know.
Because you can have a 50. You can be wrong half the time and you still get a raise.
right, yeah, and people still tune in. And like, who do you tune into? Because for me, I never paid attention to the weather. Because it doesn't matter. You're just going to deal with it no matter what. But now, because I'm the mayor in Panama, I got to start planning if the snow is coming and who's going to plow. And half the time it's me, driving the tractor out there. And the beauty of small town living, man.
Yeah,
love it.
So, it's so easy to complain about snow removal in Lincoln when we get a snowstorm. And I get it. I'm a huge complainer. There are some things they do that I think are kind of interesting. I have not studied their plan, but I did talk to a snow removal person. I think it was like 3 years ago in February where we had, I'm a drummer. So I showed my grandkids in California where they don't get snow, what it was like here. And it was one drumstick and another half by like February 19th. So however deep that is. And, it was, I finally stopped the plow and I go, what's the deal? Like, you're going up and down this street, but you're not going east-west at all. And they're like, well, we have to go by the program we're giving.
Right.
And we'll do like 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, 32nd, 33rd. And then we'll come back and we'll do A, B, C, D, E. So, and I go, the problem with that, right, is that by the time they get back to doing the east to west streets, you've already had this huge pile of snow on the intersection on 2 sides. And everybody's trying to drive through it, or they're stuck, or you've been trying to push them out. And then we get our 3 weeks of ruts because the temperature doesn't go above 33.
Right.
Like, that's the problem I want you to solve. Just that, And then being in real estate, I'm driving around all day. So it's just like, I'm going to this neighborhood. We'll see how this goes, You never know. But you look at, like, my sister lives up in Minneapolis. And I remember being up there when she's like, oh, we're going to have about 10 inches of snow tonight, and it's like October 19th. And they're like, da, 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 da. We'd be like, what? And I wake up in the morning and every street is cleared. But you have to realize up there, they're used to it. They get so much snow. Cleveland, where you grew up, would have been that way too, right?
Yeah, we got the snow, man. I think it started in July and ended in June.
Yeah. So if we get a lot of snow, don't jump on the guys and gals driving their trucks because they're doing their best,
Well, I laugh because when the few times that I have to drive the plow down in Panama, you go through, you hit Main Street first, just like you're saying, you hit Main Street, then you hit Pine, then you hit, and so you kind of have your little route laid out. And then if it's wet, you're burying people's driveways in.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing I can do about that, especially in the beginning, because it would take days to plow you out. And I had one guy come out and he was renting a house and he was hooting and hollering, screaming and yelling at me because I had buried his driveway in. And I'm not going to vote for you. Oh, gee. And I'm going to be out of office and I'm going to have to give up all this.
Oh, no, I don't have to plow anymore.
Please, I'm begging you. I've been up since 2 a.m.
I get paid negative $14 an hour by the time we figure it out to remove snow, and you're going to fire me, please.
Yeah, I'm begging you. Why don't you run and I'll show you how to run this thing tractor,
Yeah.
Oh.
Gosh, it's a lot. It's crazy. It'll be interesting to see what we get. I have a new realtor at work that lives in Omaha, and she was going to do an open house for me today, and she canceled it because of the weather. And I do get that because I was chatting with her and she's like, she goes, when I first met her, she goes, I'm a lizard, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. Like, her daughter's is one of the new volleyball players actually coming into Nebraska, and highly touted. She was like the first highest ranked female volleyball player in the United States. Anyway, so I'm chatting. She goes, I'm a lizard. And I'm thinking maybe her daughter maybe play for a team in Phoenix called the Lizards or something, or Scottsdale. And I'm like, and I go, okay. And she goes, do you know what I mean when I say I'm a lizard? I go, no. Can you tell on my face? I'm like totally confused. She goes, that's what we're called when we've lived in the South. I've never lived in a part of the country where it gets snow or gets below freezing. I just have never had my whole life. And so she canceled coming down today, which is totally cool. I totally get that. But I just think for people that have moved here from another part of the country, I have clients moving here next weekend from Everett, Washington, so
Okay.
Seattle area. And they're kind of funny, but they're like, okay, so like when it snows, so how long is everything closed down? And I'm like, well, 3-4 minutes. I mean, not long. And I go a little more, maybe 5 or 10 minutes if there's ice underneath. And well, ice. Yeah, do you have to drive on the ice? Like, well, we don't have to, but we all do, and they're like, oh my God.
That's
How
funny.
do we do that?
It's funny because you would think Seattle is way up there and they get a lot of snow. They actually don't, just because they're so close to the ocean and it's warm. But
it's windy and chilly. Well, my client Odin, his dad is one of those. What is that show where they go out fishing up there in the Alaska area?
I don't know.
What's the name of that show?
Like the on the boats?
Crab fisherman.
Yeah, the crab fisherman. And
Deadliest
Deadliest
Catch.
Catch.
There we go.
His dad's a deadliest catch, has a deadliest catch boat.
Oh, geez.
So I'm like, well, he'll know about cold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
For
cold, man. That's cold. It's so funny because we were down in Atlanta. If you go down south and they get some snow, it is pandemonium. We went down it was a Browns game. This was probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And we go to the game. It's snowing a little bit, but it's a dome, so you don't pay a lot of attention. And we came out of the stadium. There was literally half an inch of snow, and you thought there was 5 feet. I mean, people were freaking out, and they were canceling flights because the airport couldn't handle it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Because I used to be a pilot. I mean, a half an inch of snow is like, that's a half an inch of sunshine. That's nothing. But they didn't have, I think they got a little bit more snow out at the airport. We had to run to go find a car, to rent a car to drive back to Lincoln and everything was shutting down.
Oh, yeah.
The hotels were filling up. The hotel that we had was full, so we couldn't spend the night. It was nuts. It's like, folks, it's a half an inch of snow. I mean, if it was 8 inches, I could see that. It's Atlanta. You're not used to it. But
so you might remember these names. Do you ever remember? Did you ever know Don and Ann Cavallari? It might have been before you moved
that
here.
Name sounds
they owned
familiar.
A radio station here in town for years in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But anyway, they sold their station and moved to Panama City Beach, Florida. So we went down to visit them. It was like January. We're like, guys, it's going to be warm, and kind of checking temperatures and going, it's going to be kind of cool, but it'll be nice. It's going to be like 45, 50 during the day. I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt because I'm coming from this temperature here we're having today, which is freezing. We get down there, we get off the plane. Literally, I have a t-shirt and shorts on. People are at the airport in parkas. They're freezing because it's 44 degrees. That nightly news, they're like, school's canceled tomorrow because the temperature's getting down to 34. We don't want the kids standing out in the street. It's dangerous. I'm like, we maybe do that at negative 34.
Right. Yeah.
But otherwise, we're good to go.
Yeah. It's funny. When I was a kid, I remember when it would snow and then you would get that wind, it would come off of the lake and it would crust the snow. And, the north side of your house was inoperative for, 3 months because you had, it would crust over and we weren't on the lake, but, we were probably quarter of a mile from the lake.
Yeah.
And it just left a blanket of ice and you walked on top of the snow and then, another snowfall would come and then you'd play in the snow and then it'd crust over. And it was like an archaeological dig, because you just went through all these layers of snow and ice and whatnot. And
this is the snow from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Well, and we would make snow forts and then you get little spray bottles and you hit them with some water and whatnot. And those things would last until like the end of April, early May.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they would only be an inch tall.
Yeah. Probably had a stronger foundation than your home. Honestly, if you think about it, it's pretty crazy. So 2025, are you a goal guy? Do you set up goals for the year?
I always have goals, but New Year's is just an arbitrary day for me.
Yeah.
It's I never got the I'm going to start losing weight. January 1st, and it's like,
I see that.
What?
I mean,
you're not seeing it.
I just give you crap. Who am I to talk? I like that concept. I listened to a podcast a few weeks ago about it, and he was taking that same approach. He was basically like, "There's a lot of the problem with it's 2025 January 1st, and you have to have all these goals. Is that it's not something that has sunk into you. It's not a routine. It's not something that's a habit for you, like an unconscious habit that you just do. That's why most people fail, because then by the end of January, they're out of it and they don't think about it again until the next December.
Yeah.
Another thing and so I'm like you. I mean, I consistently have my goals and I'm going over them and things that I want to do. I do a lot of quarterly stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is my plan for the quarter. I have being my own business owner, of course, and like a lot of our LIBA members are. The other thing I do is I have a meeting with myself every Monday morning.
Okay.
Like a staff meeting
Right.
with myself from 8
Okay.
to 9:30. And I look at my week and go, what's going on? What do I need to be prepared for? Check my calendar. I miss it sometimes. No, that's when you'll probably get a text from me that says, oh my gosh, were we meeting today at 10? But that's kind of a good habit to get into.
Right.
And then the other thing he said on this podcast, which I loved, is he said, it's equally as important to look at your daily activities and just things that you're doing, maybe that you don't even think about, and remove 3 things from your daily routine that you do that you really don't need to do. And you could be doing something more productive. What are they? So for me, I was like the other day, of course, Facebook for me is a huge, I mine Facebook all the time,
Right.
because real estate, people are going to move for pain or pleasure usually. Right. And so, oh my God, we're going to have another kid. We don't have enough room in our house. It's crazy. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm like, boom, I'm going to talk to you.
Right.
Those types of things. But I get stuck on those stupid reels because I hit one. I go, oh my God, that's funny. I'm laughing. And then the next one's stupid. And then there's another funny one.
Oh,
Also,
yeah.
I'm like, wow, 15 minutes went by or
Yeah.
10 minutes, whatever. So that's one of my things I'm really cutting out this year.
Good.
Is maybe on the weekend, if I'm hanging around, I might get on them just for a little bit of fun. But otherwise, I'm cutting that out. So it's things like that it talks about. What can you cut out? I think that's equally as important for people.
Right. And one thing too that I always do is I kind of have a daily goal, which I never hit. My plan is to call X amount of members and make X amount of calls, and by 9 o'clock it's in pieces. Because
Sure.
something grabs you. It's running a business. And so but I have those laid out, and then you have your week, your month, your 6 month, a year, and 3 year. And I have all those things laid out in front of me all the time. Do I hit them? Usually not.
Yeah.
But as long as you're making progress. But the one thing I noticed that helped me the most is the one thing that you hate doing the most, just do at 8 o'clock. Rip that Band-Aid off. And it feels like such a relief when you finally get it done. When I was just doing sales, cold calls are the worst. Absolute worst.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And I always did 10 cold calls a day, and I did them at 8 o'clock.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It's easy to feel defeated.
Well, and sometimes that phone weighs 800 pounds.
Yeah.
And I just can't get it off the receiver. And if you just get in that habit, pick up the phone at 8 o'clock and just start making calls, it'll be done by 9:30. And then move on with the rest of your day doing the other things that you need to get done.
Yeah. So I have adult onset ADHD. That's not really true. I think I've had it since I was born, but I'm now kind of paying attention to it. But I have a great app I love. It's called Brainway, and I work with that now, which has helped me a lot. But one of the things I realized that I do is I do a whole bunch of stuff on a whole bunch of different things and get a little bit done on everything.
Okay.
And so one of my key focuses has been every day I'm going to take one task I need to do. If it's something that's been hanging out for months, a couple of years, whatever it might be, things with your home, whatever. And I'm going to get one task done a day completely and then celebrate it.
Yeah.
And go, it's really helped me, given me relief from feeling overwhelmed.
Right.
And stuck. Like I'm not getting anywhere. I can't get something done. So it's great. I mean, in my business, you're dealing with fires, basically. I call it, like, we're basically putting fire. Basically, we're in adult daycare from the time you meet a client until they close. Right. But if any of my clients are listening, it's a positive thing.
You are excluded from this conversation.
Taking care of you with your needs with real estate. But what it does is it's very interfering. So you're in the middle of doing something in your phone. I call it my cash register. My cash register rings, and of course I answer it. And it's like, oh my gosh, we found out, in inspections that there's this problem, and then you got to call and you got to start fixing it, and it can just kind of take your day away. So, I just don't answer my phone from 8 to 9 in the morning. I just don't answer my phone.
Just put it on
People
vibrate.
can leave a message. Yeah, it's kind of like the old days, like if we went to the grocery store and back, we didn't have a phone. You're far too young, Rico, to remember this.
I'm 31.
You're still too
I
young.
remember.
Have you always been alive when there's been cell phones? No, because
I was born in 93.
There you go. Great.
Oh, cell phones came out in the 70s, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have them, but
The
we
brick
didn't
phone.
have them.
the brick phone.
Oh
Remember
yeah,
that,
the
right?
bag phone.
And so
I say we
but
had nothing. I just had
yeah.
the home phones memorized.
Yeah.
Back
I've
when you had
had-
to memorize phone numbers. I used to do
Yeah.
it. I used
Oh,
to have
yeah.
all that
Yes,
in my
we
head.
all did.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now
many-
I still have like my grandma's old home phone in my head, but like now it's just like I don't know anybody's numbers anymore.
I still remember my phone number from when I was a kid back in the 70s. I mean, those things get burned into your brain.
my PIN numbers are. I go back and forth between my two best friends when I was young.
Okay.
The last 4 digits of their phone number. So it's really easy to remember.
That's
And
funny.
both of you know who you are if you try to get into my crap. You're in trouble. I can't believe I just said that on the radio. But I had all those numbers. But and I'll have, realtors will be like, how can you like not answer your phone? And I go, look, there's nothing that's going to be that big of an emergency. If one of the houses I have listed is on fire, somebody's already called 911.
Right.
I mean, what's the worst case scenario?
It's still going to be on fire in
Yeah.
an hour.
That's helped a lot because it's given me that hour to just go, I'm working on this one thing I want to get done today. It's helped a lot. I only started it about 5 weeks ago. So, I mean, it's a work in progress, but it's made a difference.
And it's funny through the years as I've worked with all these different people. Did you know Ed Hunnicky?
Yeah.
You remember Ed?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Who didn't know Ed?
I know.
By the way, he was a great guy.
He was.
God rest his soul. He was a good human being.
He was one of the guys who took me under his wing when I first started in radio back in 98, because we were real close to each other.
And that would be him.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And really kind of mentored me along. But he had one rule was touch paper once. So when you would get back into the office, everybody had a little mailbox and you would have whatever your receipts for your orders and whatnot, and you would pull it out of your mailbox and you would go up and file it. Well, you'd get in the habit of it's 3 or 4 pieces of paper and you'd stick it in the basket, and then pretty soon, 3 or 4 sheets of paper turned into a 2-inch pile. Now you're going to spend 5 hours putting things in files. Well, geez, I don't have 3 or 4 hours. So now 2 inches becomes 4 inches. And next thing you know, you're coming in over the weekend to do the filing.
Right.
And he goes, touch it once. He goes, don't let it touch your desk. He goes, hold on to it, touch it once, file it. It takes 2 seconds, and just rip that thing off like a Band-Aid.
File
And-
it or
and
deal it. But
It's a good life lesson. It doesn't have to apply to filing. It could be phone calls. It could be whatever it is that, that you just don't put it off. Just do it.
Yeah. I was told that decades ago, and I seem to forget it over time, and it has to come back. Thank you for the reminder. I have some papers I've touched several times now that I'm thinking about it. But I have as you were saying that, I'm thinking email. I do that with email now, where it's like, I was famous for you turn on your email. I use Outlook. So you see like 10 of your emails, who they're from. That person, I click on it. And then literally while I'm reading it, I'm still looking over to the left going, oh my gosh, that one, go back here. And then before I know it, I have like opened all my emails and not dealt with any of them, and it's like, I gotta go back. And then the phone's ringing and you're,
Oh, yeah.
off showing home or whatever. For me, everybody's got their different thing. But so I've been much more focused on, which is part of this brainwave thing I'm doing, much more focused on when you're dealing, when you open an email, deal with it. If it's something, I'll do this. Like I am signed up for probably 5 real good emails I like from public speakers, motivational speakers, like stuff we're talking about today. And they may have an article to read or something, and I'm like, oh, I'll come back and read it later. And I don't do that anymore. If I'm not going to read it right then, I'm just going to delete it, because, hey, I know I can go to their webpage and find it all, that kind of thing has helped. And now I've set up places where it just kind of automatically feeds over there and I go at the same time. But, last year's word, do you do the word thing where you get a word for the year?
Oh, word for no.
Have you ever heard of that? Okay, so I've been doing that for about 5 years. I really like it. It does help me focus. My word last year was process.
Okay.
And my phrase was, it all works out in the end.
Okay.
So one of the challenges that I was having was when there's bad news to deliver to somebody. It's really hard for me to do. I don't want to deliver you bad news.
Yeah,
I
no.
want to deliver you good news. And so I'd be like, oh, I need to call him. I know I need to call him. I just got this bad news. I call him in a few minutes. I'm going to get a cup of coffee, put it off. And one of the guys that's been a realtor for like 47 years, he goes, Gary, look, it's a fact. You didn't make the fact. You didn't have anything to do with the fact. He goes, I mean, if you did, that might be a different thing. He goes,
Right. Yeah.
95 to 99% of the time you don't. And he goes, holding on to it doesn't do anything. Just make the call. It'll all work out in the end. And so that was my phrase last year. And I kind of used it for a lot of things in my life. And it's, guess what? At the end of 2024, everything all worked out in the end. A lot of it didn't work out how I wanted it to or thought it would, but it all works out. You know? So I'm going to keep those words for this year. Process has been huge for me.
Yeah. Well, we have a break coming up, so let's go to break, and then we'll just kind of keep chatting about goals and plans and building a business and all that fun stuff.
Sounds great.
On the backside.
Let's
So
see
you're
what-
listening to the LIBA Business Hour, and we'll be right back.
Having diabetes doesn't have to ruin your new year. Join a Nebraska-supported program like Living Well with Diabetes. You'll learn how to manage your symptoms, feel more confident, and reduce stress about your diagnosis. Search Nebraska Living Well with Diabetes and click on the DHHS Healthy Living Programs page to learn more. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Bryant at 402-467-1111 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-467-1111.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing an authentic relationship with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-491-9100 and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Witness history in the making as Love Omaha Volleyball takes on Love Madison in the team's inaugural home match. Be there to watch Olympic teammates Jordan Larson and Lauren Carlini go head-to-head in a battle of the world's best. Visit lovboma.com for tickets starting at $31. Volleyball is the next major league.
You're working out, eating right, living a healthy lifestyle, but your energy sucks. This could be a sign of low testosterone. Where do you turn for help? The answer is Limitless Male, the #1 testosterone clinic for men in the Midwest. Start by scheduling your free consult at one of our 13 clinics. If low T is the diagnosis, a custom treatment plan will get your energy back on track. What are you waiting for? Schedule your free consult at limitlessmail.com.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solution offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions, 2040 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Travis with Midwest Bank, now with 2 branches conveniently serving Lincoln and 8 other locations across Nebraska. We're here to help you with any of your needs, from opening a checking account to buying a home or financing your business, our staff is here for you. Stop in and you might see Shin Daddy himself. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank, member FDIC.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to hear their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning. Now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Back to the LIBA Business Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This segment sponsored by Ascend Aesthetics.
And you're back listening to the LIBA Business Hour. I am Travis Filing, the CEO of LIBA, and with me is Gary Tharnish, my co-host. And we just been talking a little bit about business and planning and strategizing. And I love the shut your phone off, deal with the task at hand.
Right.
One thing that being a pilot has really prepared me, because I was one of those people who I could get easily distracted when I was younger. And when you start going through flight training, you don't get that option, right? If an engine goes out, especially because when you're learning, you're flying single engine planes, and you're going along and you're doing your thing, and then all of a sudden the instructor, pulls the throttle all the way to idle, and he goes, okay, your engine just went out. What are you going to do? Well, you don't get to be distracted.
No, you got to jump.
You have, because you can, exactly. Strap on that parachute. I'm out. But you have to solve the problem. You have to deal with the problem at hand, and that's it. Because you can sit there and go, oh my gosh, why did the engine go out? Why did this? Why did this? Why did this? Why did this? The next thing you know, you've lost 3,000 feet.
Yeah.
You ain't getting that back.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that really prepares you to go one task, take that one task and focus on it,
And that's the key word right there is focus. I think the other thing too is people will write goals and they maybe they maybe have too many. The other thing I see real common with goals is it's really just an action step.
Yeah.
That's the part of your to-do list for a much bigger thing that you want to achieve, and it's the lack of focus often. That's what I love about my hour time with my phone shut off is that I can, focus like a rhino, just charge forward with this task that I want to get done. And it helps me to not have all that stuff. I call it, what is, my friend Heidi has a word for it. Monkey brain. Keeps me from getting monkey brain.
Okay.
Where it's like, this I got to do that, and you're going and it just deceives you from doing what your task is at hand. So I love the word focus. That I'm kind of trying to choose my word for this year. Spark is one thing I have. When I did spark. Yeah.
Okay.
Where I just, light a fire under my tush,
Right.
and have a spark. I like that word. Focus is another good one. I think it's really easy to lose focus on anything that you do, and it's difficult. We had one show where we talked a little bit about entrepreneurs and starting a business, and it's really easy to have blinders on and feel like you're there all alone.
Right.
And that's when mistakes start happening and you're not reaching out for help, maybe because you're ashamed or feel like, whatever, fear of there's so much involved in that. But asking for help also, I think, is really important. And it's, actually a really great thing to do, and you need to do it as often as possible.
Well, and one thing, especially when I look back when Shannon was starting out, and then when I joined her, I would have a lot of that analysis paralysis.
Yep.
Right. You're so afraid that you're going to make the wrong decision that you don't make any decision.
Yes.
And it's like making no decision is worse than making the wrong decision.
Yep.
And the beauty of being a small business, 1 or 2 man person business, you can make a mistake. and you can turn around instantly and go in the opposite direction.
Yep.
And that's a gift. And you will learn if you make the wrong decision. I've made plenty of them all the time. And you go, whoops, that was a mess.
Yeah.
And turn around and go in the opposite direction. It's okay. And sometimes it costs you money, and every time it costs you time. But it's all right as long as you keep moving. It's the old, when you're going through hell, keep going. That's something that you really need to think about when you get into tough times. Just keep going. Don't be afraid to make a decision. Make a decision and go.
Yeah. Keep moving forward. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can get paralyzed
Yeah.
very easily. That's why people lose their homes a lot of times. It isn't necessarily, well, obviously, if they can't make their payment, that's part of it.
Yeah,
that's a huge, that's
usually
the problem,
contributes to it.
But I mean, there's so many other things that can, associate with that. I think this day and age, a new thing that I see when I'm working with people and helping them, especially first-time home buyers, where it's like, you're not quite ready yet, but here's some tools that I can give you and help you so that 9 months from now, a year from now, you can be ready to go. One thing I see is, let's start with, what subscriptions are you paying every month automatically that you don't know about? It's shocking how many people have. They don't really, they don't balance their checkbook. It's not like it used to be where we wrote everything down.
No one has a
just
register.
Right on your, it's like, how much money do you have in your account? Oh, let me look. I have this much. Okay, would you have any outstanding things coming in? Well, no, but I should be okay. I get paid Friday, well, then Wednesday you have an overdraft charge because you didn't get paid in time for your automatic payment. That's a huge thing a lot of people have. But what happens when people start missing house payments is exactly what you were just talking about. They get paralyzed and they don't want to call a bank. They're scared. They're nervous. They're maybe 3 months behind, and then they'll make a payment. And then they're getting these letters that are very threatening, right? I mean, you do sign a contract when you buy a house that says if you don't make your payments, the bank's taking it,
right?
And I always think what's so sad about people going into foreclosure and the bank actually auctioning off the house or anything is that if they would have gotten a hold of a realtor, so anybody out there that might be behind on house payments, if you're nervous, one thing you can do is reach out to a realtor. If you find a good realtor that can help you. And the thing is, you're better off to sell the house prior to an auction or whatever, so you can keep some of your equity than just letting it slide away.
Right.
And then, that concept and thought can be brought into a lot of things in your life. It's not just, a home, being behind on home mortgage or anything. Cars are the same. They get repossessed, and
when it's funny because I remember back, we had landed a huge client, and they were, it started out as mom and pop, and it grew to this massive business.
Sure.
And this was back, I always called it the golden age of internet, back when everyone's building websites, and then you're slowly starting to get into e-commerce and all this stuff. And so we got them, and we were building their online stuff, and it got to a point where you're buying Google ads, you're doing all this marketing for them, and you're sending bills. Well, the people who had that signed the checks literally hand signed every single check, and it took forever to get paid. And this company ended up owing us about $500,000, right?
Yeah,
well, it was just me and Shannon. Well, we had one employee with us at the time, so there was 3 of us. Well, we don't have $500,000 laying around.
Right. You're not their bank.
Exactly.
That's what happens when you have accounts receivable.
But you get to a point where you're so scared to call them and feel like you're begging to get paid, because what happens if they cancel? And I am using credit cards to pay employees, and finally it's like, wait a minute, this is stupid. I'm going broke because I'm afraid to pick up the phone and make a phone call.
Yeah.
And I picked up the phone, I made a phone call, and they go, hey, no problem. Sorry about that. You'll be the first one to get paid. Next thing you know, here comes $500,000 in the mail, and everything was right. Now, if I'd done that 3 months ago or 2 months ago, right, I would have probably saved several $1,000s in interest.
Exactly.
That I was borrowing to try and keep the business going.
Well, and easy at that amount of money, it's thousands and thousands.
Yes, it was a lot. That's your margin. It's not like the $500,000 came to me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Businesses out there with accounts receivables, that is a very, very, very tough thing. You see it a lot. We used to have a lot of, like in the business I'm in now. Well, of course, my previous business, accounts receivables was everything. It's like you could not have it with corporations, but we had it pretty well under control. After you got e-commerce, it was a lot easier to just get paid regularly and go through QuickBooks or whatever. But Now, one thing that we have in my business is, so I get a listing, and you have inspections done, you have pictures taken, maybe you have the house cleaned. It used to be a lot of times where they take care of all that stuff at closing. And now they don't do that because, what if it doesn't close? Then they're trying to collect from who and collect what or whatever. So a lot of that is, prepaid now, which is kind of a whole different thing. But it makes much more sense.
Right.
Just pay for it as you go along. And receivables can be something that will really bring a company down very quickly.
Very quickly.
Because you end up financing someone else's bill.
Yeah.
You're not their bank. I remember a couple of clients I had where, had to make that same type of call, and they're like, well, we can get you like this much. Okay, well, we need to suspend any further.
Right.
Yeah. Really, you don't want our business? I go, well, I want your money first.
Right. Part of this equation is a check.
And when I think back to it, there were only a couple accounts that we lost. It was like, what are we losing?
Right.
We're losing a really big headache. We're losing me being their banker, which I'm not. We're losing, so I'm paying interest on a charge card or whatever I have to do to keep my business going because they're not paying their bill. And then after a while, you just got that, automatic payment, really nice, or just have their credit card on file, charge their credit card once a month. Worked. I hate paying the credit card fees, but it was much better than holding out 60, 90 days.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to lose a client. Don't be afraid to fire a client, because this is a business and you have a responsibility to your employees more than your customers.
Yeah.
Because if your customers are not good customers, then they're not really customers.
Well, and that's in every business, right? I mean, I've let a client go.
Yeah.
It got to the point where it was like, wow, I can't take one more lie.
Mm-hmm.
And my brand and my reputation is on the line with this other realtor I'm working with who knows a lot of realtors. And it's like, I'm repeating things that aren't true. I'm trying to verify what you're saying. I can't trust you. You gotta let them go. And I remember the shock of it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you don't want your commission? I definitely want the commission. I just don't want everything you're doing to me to continue happening.
Right.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
Lying about bankruptcy on your loan application. Yeah. And the response was, well, I didn't file bankruptcy. My idiot ex-wife filed bankruptcy. I'm like, well, the question doesn't say, unless your idiot ex-wife filed bankruptcy, have you ever filed bankruptcy? Because, dude, your name's on here.
Right. Yeah, come on, man.
So now this changes everything. Like, you may not be able to get your loan. And it was just like one thing after another. And you're just like,
yeah,
crazy.
That's nuts.
Every business has its deal. Things you got.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
Well, just when you look at LIBA, any membership organization lost members during COVID.
Sure,
I mean, that was just pretty much a standard thing. Most have really gotten all those members back. It's something that really has to be worked on, and you have to get that done. But that's the challenge that you have at LIBA. Whereas at another business that isn't a member association, they're going to have their own little challenge.
Absolutely,
everything. Radio stations have to have people doing ads in order for things to work. It's a whole ball game.
Oh, when COVID hit, the first thing businesses cut out was marketing.
Oh yeah,
and when you own a marketing firm,
that's right. You guys, marketing companies took huge hits then.
Yeah, if I can't open my doors and invite customers in, I'm sure as hell not going to buy an ad on the radio to invite customers in.
Yeah, that was such a strange time in the world. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how history treats that period that we had there. But it changed so many things.
It did.
I mean, the work from home became so much more popular. I remember, in my business, owning a flower shop, we had to go in. I mean, we design and make everything that we sell out. People were still passing away. There was we had to go in. And I remember when I got COVID early on, then all my staff got it. I mean, we had to close for 20 days. When you look at a business and you have goals that you're going to do, I mean, closing 20 days, the city shut down. And so we lost 72% of our business because we did a lot of event work.
Right.
Hello, there were no events.
No events.
You lose 72. And it was like, I remembered the insurance. This was my favorite call. We're maybe 2 weeks into the city closing down. It was like March, if I remember right. It was March. I will never forget.
That sounds about right.
Rephrase that.
Okay.
But I remember getting a call from my insurance company. And they were like, hey, we're just trying to reach out to you. We know these are really difficult times, with everything that's going on. And we've been trying to call our businesses that are service oriented, where we realize, there's not going to be events, all these things, if there's anything we can do to help, we just want you to know that we're here for you. And I can tell, she's just reading the script, not really reading it, but it's her little script. And she gets all done. I'm quick witted and blunt,
Right.
So I go, Thank you so much for the call. There is so much you can do to help me. So basically, when I'm looking at my books with everything being closed down, the universities shut down all events for the year, all the universities I deal with, hospitals, corporations that had big events, all their, night of champion, whatever you call it, all this stuff's canceled. I go, it's 72% of my business. So if you could give me a break on my insurance every month for 72% till things pick back up, that would be great. Thank you so much for calling. And it was like silence on the other end. I knew right off the bat. She was like, I'm terrified. No, I'm telling you. But she's like, and she goes, well, I'm not sure we could do that. And I go, well, you were asking if you really want to help. That's what you could do to help.
That's what I need.
Because it's like, you're not going to take a hit.
Right.
Right. Yeah. But it's like, if you want to help, that would help.
Yeah.
Same with rent. All that stuff would help.
Yeah, exactly.
It never happened, but you try.
But you know what? That's one of those things too, where if you are in business and let's say you're behind on something or you're having, a little problem, just head it off at the pass. I mean, call. I've had a couple of clients and I've loved these clients.
Reach out.
And they'll call up and they go, hey, we're in this position. Here's what we can do. Great. Well, we can cut a little bit back here and then we'll add a couple $100 here. And then we because we're partners, I want your business to succeed because if your business doesn't succeed, then you're going away, whereas kind of like my, the other client, you're $500,000 in the hole. It's scary. So if you have a problem, head it off at the pass, man. Just pick up the phone and go. I know we got another break coming up here, so let's go to break real quick, and then we'll just keep the conversation going on the backside. You're listening to LIBA Business Hour on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Abby with Midwest Bank. Stop by our new location at 70th and Pioneers. Our new full-service branch does it all. From our friendly staff to our easy online banking and mobile app, you get all the technology of a big bank that you need, but you still get the hometown customer service that you want. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank. Member FDIC.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
New year, new you? Barrel's Extreme Body Shaping can help make sure you keep that resolution this time. Our proven system combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition, along with our expert coaching to make sure you're moving forward toward your goals. The next 10-week challenge starts January 11th, but if you enroll now, you can start today and get a head start on those gains for no extra cost. Plus, head to fxblincoln.com and you can save $100. Don't wait. Barrel's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Back to the LIBA Business Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This segment sponsored by U-Stop and Whitehead Oil.
And you're back for the last segment of the LIBA Business Hour on 93.7 The Ticket. You know, sometimes, I swear we should be running the cameras like for the entire hour, because sometimes during the break we have the best conversations, which does spark our segments coming forward. But one thing that we were talking about that kind of bumped a thought in my head was, when you're in business, don't chase the good old days. You know, so my wife and I, we have a very small real estate. We call it a real estate business. We have some rental properties. We have some commercial buildings and some residential houses and whatnot. And you get to this point, like now we are, I don't know, about a dozen or so years into owning these rentals. And 12 years ago, a house in Panama or Elmwood or wherever we have them was less than $100,000.
Right.
And you go look at a house now, and it's well over double that. And you go, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They want I could have bought this for $94,000 and now they want $210,000. And so then you get in this weird, your brain gets in this space, and then you go 8% interest. Oh my God. 8%. I just got a loan 5 years ago at 3.5%.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. It's never coming back. Right. So don't get frozen with the good old days, because they're gone. Because in 5 years from now, today is the good old days.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to be looking at that house at $412,000 and go, I could have bought that for $205,000 5 years ago. So I'm not just saying just jump in and be reckless.
Yeah.
But don't get hung up on the good old days, because the good old days are gone. But it's also today. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. You know, that triggered my mind. It's funny how that works.
There we go.
Yeah, like boom.
We do have brains.
So yeah, just keeping them working is the key, right? So that brings to mind one of the guys in one of my mindset groups I'm in, that he said, I don't really do the word thing. And he goes, but I just have something that I focus on for the year and try to go, I'm going to do this for sure for a year and make it just be a subconscious habit. Really, habit really is your subconscious taking over. And you're like, every morning, do you wake up and think, oh, I got to brush my teeth? You end up doing it because you do it every day.
Right.
Well, hopefully, do you brush your teeth every day?
No, once a year, whether they need it or not.
I'm going to sit 2 seats over next time. But he said his thing for this year is, he goes, I'm going to live within a 2-foot radius of my feet. I go, what? He goes, I'm going to live within a 2-foot radius of my feet. I go, okay, like you're going to be homeless and just stand on the corner? He goes, no. He goes, the point of that is, and the thought of that is that I'm going to live in the moment. I'm not going to be here at this radio show talking to Travis and talking to Rico and have my mind be 30 different places. Or now I'm going to enjoy the moments as they happen and be with whoever I'm with at the time.
Right.
If I'm with my kids, I'm going to be with my kids. I'm not going to be thinking about this or that. I'm going to really focus on being where my feet are.
Right.
I'm here right now. This is where I'm going to be. I'm not going to be at my kids' game again this year, texting
and
answering calls. I'm going to watch the game, put my phone on hold.
That is so interesting, because I always think back, because Shannon and I, we want to go back to Hawaii, right? We went to Hawaii back in 2000.
Yeah.
And I lived behind the camcorder, and I was filming everything.
You missed it.
And I missed everything.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, it's a perfect, I mean, I love that, because when you first said that, I'm going to leave 2 feet within my foot. What the are you talking about? But it's brilliant, because you need to just live in the moment.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Because we went to Hawaii and we went back. Well, that's a different story. We went back for 2 days when my dad passed away and we were gone. But I missed it. I missed Hawaii because I was living behind the camcorder. And you know what the kicker is? I never even watched that dang video.
Right. Right. I know.
I mean?
I think of all the
It's like-
digital pictures I have that are on my old computers that are dead now. And I'm like, okay, I should have printed a few of those.
Right.
Maybe. They're gone, which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and you got 10,000 pictures in there, and you're cursing all these frickety fracking pictures because I can't find the one that I want to show you. Yeah.
You know, when you also talk about not living in the past and stuff. So baby boomers, right? A lot of baby boomers are starting to right size. So in my business, what I get is that they're like, we want to sell our house and right size, downsize. Right size is different for everybody, but it may not be downsizing. Anyway, so you go and you have a listing appointment with them and they're like, oh my gosh, I know our house is worth this much. We paid it off 20 years ago. We're going to be wealthy. And then you go, okay, well, let's talk about the buy side. And they're like, what? That costs what? They want that much for that house?
Yeah.
They want, we bought our house for $48,000 in 1978. And it's like, those days are gone.
Yeah, long gone.
So you really got to bring people fast forward. Interest rates. One thing I use all the time is I'll tell people, well, in 1981, I bought my first house. I was a sophomore at UNL. And I bought my grandparents' house. They had to go into a nursing home. And my realtor and mortgage broker were over the moon because interest rates had just come down to 17.1%. And so think of that, right?
That's
right now,
big.
that just makes 7 look so good.
Yeah. That's almost an interest-only loan at that point.
I know. It doesn't really work. People don't still get it. They're still like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not paying. You're not paying my house payment. But I mean, the point being, it's so relative, right? Not living in the past is such an important thing.
Yeah. But it is. It really is. The good old days are gone. Stop focusing on those and just start taking a plan and moving over. And every day is a fresh start.
Yeah.
And
once you get over that, instead of having a negative thought every day of the good old days are gone, I think the days ahead are going to be better.
Yeah. Well, this has been kind of a fun conversation.
It has been. It's been really good. Rico, nice to meet you.
Yeah. And are you back next week?
I think we'll have somebody else on the board next week.
Okay.
But you'll see me probably 3 weeks from now, and I'll be bringing somebody along with me who will potentially be your full-time producer.
Okay, we're going to do a live on the air interview of somebody who might be our producer.
Okay, we're
I like
not
it.
going to do that.
That'll be great. He's a great kid.
All right.
This is poor guy alone.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. We will see you next week.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here